So I'm reading this comment by John Bitton, and he's like, I believe you, Ape Father. I believe you. I don't think anybody would make up something, that their wife has stage 4 cancer. I believe you're telling the truth. He goes, what I think the problem is that we knew about this for a while, and your wife had stage 4 cancer for a good number of years. How is she still alive? Because, it's funny you say that. Not that it's funny. This is not a funny subject, but, just the expression when you say it's funny, you say that because I was thinking the same thing when my wife first told me back in 2017 when it was stage 4 cancer. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, my God, it's like, is she gonna because I had no experience with this. I had absolutely no knowledge. I have never dealt with anything like this before in my whole life. Naturally, I assumed that she wasn't going to live like that long. I figured, I don't know, 6 months, a year, 2 years max. I had no idea. That's how I felt. Okay. And my wife even felt that way. So the simple answer is this started in a situation where the cancer was contained. I'm trying to go step by step to make you understand this because it's really complicated, okay? It was contained in her breast. Now, I didn't even want her to get the friggin' operation. I kept telling her, don't get it, don't get it. She had something called DCIS, where in other words, the cancer was not spreading. It was just in the breast. So the doctors were pressuring her to get what's called a mastectomy. Okay, the removal of the breast with the hopes that takes all the cancer away. But you see what happens, and I'm actually making this video because I want to educate people out there. You want to know the truth? I want to educate people. I want people to learn from this. I'm just going to tell you my opinion. I am not a doctor. Okay, this is not medical advice, and I am certainly not telling you to listen to me. But I'm just going to share my experience. It seems like when people who have cancer get surgeries, the cancer cells, you can't really get all the cancer out. So what happens at that point is the cancer spreads, like it opens up. Like, see, at first it was contained in the breast, but then once they operated surgically to do the mastectomy, to take the breast off, it opened up a spot for the little tiny particles of cancer to spread into her chest wall. And that's it. They'll do chemotherapy and all that, but I just feel that it's impossible, okay? Once they do surgery, they're releasing those cancer cells into the rest of the body. That's just my opinion. And I want to be clear to everyone. I am not a doctor. It is not medical advice, but I've seen this happen so many times with my wife, okay? So at first it was contained. When she got the surgery, it became stage 4. Now here's the thing. At first, it just went on her spinal cord, which a lot of people don't understand this. There's a lot of people out there that have cancer, like Olivia Newton-John, may she rest in peace, God bless her, lived with it for a very long time. A very long time. It was just, I believe, on her spinal cord. So as long as it's not on major organs, see, you can live. So for a while, like it's still considered stage 4 because it's on the spinal cord. It's considered stage 4, but it's not on like organs such as, your heart, your lungs, your liver, blah, blah, blah. So then what happened was it went on her liver. Okay. That was not good. That was bad. But the chemotherapy was able to get the cancer off her liver, to kill the cancer on her liver. So she was okay again. Okay. Where it got bad was around 2020. Okay. When it went to the brain. That's when it first started. Okay. But it wasn't that bad at first. You know what I mean? It wasn't that bad at first. It was just like tiny little, particles. And it started to grow and grow. And then she did radiation. Now at the time it was targeted radiation where they zapped it and it shrunk. But for some odd reason, it I don't know, it wasn't supposed to come back, but it came back with like a vengeance. It came back and it grew really, really big. It was three tumors. Okay. And that's now we're moving forward into recent days where she had to get the brain surgery was last year. Well, it was January of 2024, basically a year ago, where she removed the 9 centimeter tumor. For some odd reason, the doctors didn't want to remove the other. There was like two tumors, but they wanted to treat that with radiation and other things. But it started. See, what I believe happened, and again, okay, I am not a doctor, and this is not medical advice. But once again, when the doctor did the brain surgery, I believe that certain particles of the cancer from the brain went into that spinal cord tunnel. Because you have to understand that is very, very rare. I was reading very few people who have cancer actually have that, where the cancer goes into the tunnel of the spinal cord. So I believe it was caused from the surgery. That's the problem. Every time there's surgery, they can't get all the cancer, and little particles of cancer go and spread. And that's what happened. Now, because it went to the spinal cord tunnel, this is really, really bad. You understand? Because it keeps like shooting back up to the brain. That's what's happening. So that's why they don't know really what to do anymore. They're like, look, maybe we'll do whole brain radiation because the cancer is spread throughout the brain. But the problem with that is that the treatment is worse than the cancer itself. The treatment is worse. You understand? And it can pretty much turn you into like a vegetable. It can completely mess you up with your memory, your thinking, your cognitive abilities, completely screw you up. So that's why even doctors say, don't do it. Don't do whole brain radiation. You know what I mean? But that's why they're at that level. They don't know what else to say. You know what I mean? And they're like, well, maybe we could shoot chemotherapy into the spinal cord. It's extremely painful. But they're saying that it doesn't really even work. It's like the doctors were telling us this. They're like, you have to be like really committed. Like you got to get the whole brain radiation. You got to get these constant spinal taps and all this stuff. But they're kind of telling us in little to no words, we don't feel we can help you anymore. That's what they're saying. And do you really want to take the little quality of life that you have left and destroy it with whole brain radiation, with all this stuff? So Jennifer chose palliative care right now, where she's at home. Okay, she's no longer in a hospital, and she's on medications such as morphine and oxycodone, Xanax, steroids. And in addition to all of this, she's on turmeric, which again, I have to tell you, I love it. I'm not a doctor, it's not medical advice, specifically with the black pepper. The turmeric combined with the black pepper seems to have helped. Like I was reading these articles about mice where it was a really sad situation, but they have to do it, I guess, for testing purposes. They injected these mice with like tubers. And supposedly they gave them turmeric, and it reduced the size of the tumors and it helped the mice. There was like positive results. I mean, look it up. Now, again, I'm not saying, and I got to watch what I say, that turmeric is the cure for cancer, but there was a positive results found in terms of the testing with mice. For some reason, they're not doing clinical trials. Again, I'm not saying that turmeric is the cure for cancer. I'm just saying it shows promise. Okay, so that's where we're at now. So that's the timeline. All right, does that make any sense? Because people keep asking me, oh, how can you explain that she's been dealing with this since 2017? So I explained it. Okay, but hopefully this will be enough. And hopefully people will just accept this and not talk about it anymore. She's a strong person. She's got a strong will, my wife. She's a powerhouse. I like to call her Wonder Woman. You understand? Superwoman. She's still, despite everything she's going through, she's a powerhouse. She still wants to just be a great mom, a great wife, but you see that she's slowing down. I see it. It breaks my heart. It's hard for her, to walk now and get up and do things. It's friggin' heartbreaking. But she's a bull. God bless her. So I hope that answers that question. All right. And again, only if you want, okay, not a requirement. You could read the description of this video in terms of making a very, very small gift in exchange for a video that I will create for you, where I will dedicate a song to you. It could be a Billy Joel song, an Elton John song, could be an original song, something, a small kind gesture, from the heart. I don't care if it's $1. It's the thought that counts. Because a lot of people say that to me. They're like, hey, Father, I love you, they say. I love your wife. I want to help. They say I'm in a bad financial position. Like recently, Zandy Savage gave like $1. I mean, it's just the thought that counts. It's the thought that counts. I don't want people to feel like, oh, you got to give $100 or some crazy thing. It's just the thought that counts. $1, believe it or not, enough people did it, would make a difference. So it's not required. You don't have to do it. You could just listen to the song Back Into My Arms. I want to make that song viral and famous before I leave this earth. I wrote that for my wife when we first met, 1999. I wasn't ready for a commitment, I wasn't ready to get married. And I broke up with her like a friggin' Mama Luke, like a stunad. And then what happened was a year went by. I was trying to be like a rock star. I was playing all the Brooklyn bars with my Billy Joel tribute band. And I missed her. And I called her every day and I said, look, I wrote this song for you, Back Into My Arms. It's all of this is in the description of the video. If you wanted to help, if you wanted to see the video, I'm gonna put the link to the video in the description. Anything, is up to you. That's it. All of this is not required. You don't have to listen to the video, Back Into My Arms. You don't have to help us. You understand that, right? Only if you want to. So that's it. So obviously, I just want to say everything I said in this video is not medical advice. I am definitely not a doctor. Not a financial planner. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I am an entertainer, though. I'm a piano player. I'm an entertainer. I wish that what my wife was going through was entertainment, but it's not. Her condition is very, very real. God bless her.